Hey, welcome to the second half of the show. That was our So Solid half hour. I hope you enjoyed that. I have none other than So Solid Frost with me. I'm super gassed for this interview. So Solid Frost, how are you?
I'm doing good, mate. You know, we had to come through, represent for you and all that, you know, family ties and all that.
I appreciate it. So, how are you?
I'm doing good, you know what I mean? Always good, always positive. Just spreading a little bit of positive energy all around.
How's the past year been for you, COVID-wise?
No real changes for me. Just no gigs, obviously. But yeah, aside that, everything's good. Been working, daytime job and all that. So yeah, things were good. Just carried on doing my thing. Had to work around a few of the little issues, you know, like training at home with the weights instead of being in the gym. A little bit of a different vibe, but you know what I mean, just keep motivated.
Right, I'm going to ask a question that I think everyone wants to know. You are part of one of the most well-known collectives, household name, So Solid Crew. What is that like to be a member of So Solid Crew? That's a fan question right there.
That's a fan question right there. Do you know what? It's an honour to be part of that collective. Having the right people around you just makes life so much easier. Do you know what I mean? It's when you got the right people around you, everything just sort of clicks in place. Like, you got to have positive energy around you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be fed no negative energy. You know, so it's all positive. Like, they make me a better person. So, you know.
I love that. So what was life like before So Solid then?
Oh, we're going deep with this one. So, yeah. Before So Solid, I was a bit of a social outcast, to say. So, yeah, I was brought up, like, I sort of grew up in gangs and all that in my teenage years. Got myself in a bit of trouble and all that. And, I was kind of had to find a way to better my life, innit? Like, I got out of all the gangs and all that. I had my family supporting me. And then had to take time to focus on myself, you know. So I took the time away to focus on myself. Eventually, met up with Lisa and that. And, yeah, from Lisa just giving me an opportunity around her, sort of grew into the position that I'm in now. So yeah, things were good. Just believed in the energy was right. Lisa felt that my energy was right around her. She brought me in, and that's where we are today, sort of.
That sounds like a long journey. I just want to kind of get into that a little bit, if you don't mind. Kind of like gang days. How old were you? Is that like teenage years?
Yeah, so I started off proper gangs, I suppose. I was about 13 years old. Got wrapped up.
Right.
Very well-known guy in the area. Kind of took me under his wing. And yeah, it just sort of started progressing. Got wrapped up in all of that, the South London vibe. So you can imagine some naughty faces in the area around me and that. But yeah, it sort of progressed quickly for me because I was taken under one of the top boys' sort of wing and that. Sort of, yeah, progressed up, climbed up, hanging around with some naughty people, you know, doing some naughty things. Yeah, things that I wouldn't say we have to regret, but we learn from, innit? So I've now got them life experiences to say, do you know what? Yeah, I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I was easily led. So now I can sort of talk to the younger generation and say to them, look, I've been there, I've done it. Is it worth it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we can get a legitimate job that pays good money and earn a decent living through doing things properly. What's the point of being out here want to be this bad boy when in reality, where does being a bad boy get you? You either end up one of two places, in a bad way, or you end up inside. Like, you could end up dead from all of the stuff that's going on. It's all changing nowadays. Everyone's using weapons. It's not sort of, when I was growing up, everyone wanted to fight with their fists. Like, weapons were involved at times, like guns were involved and all that sort of stuff, but more so in the new generation, you find that everyone wants to pick up a tool. No one really wants to get involved and just have it out one-on-one, use the fist. So nowadays, it's I think the criminal activity is a little bit more educated. They're a little bit more in the shadows. Back in my days, we would roll around massive gangs on the street. You'd see sort of 30 of us rolling around up and down on the roads.
Wow.
Nowadays, it's sort of, you don't really see the activity on the street. They're working a little bit more clever, a little bit more shrewd with the activities that they're doing. So You need to be a lot more cautious, because people that you walk up to in the street every day, like, you don't know who you're dealing with.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone's got a history, everyone's got their own life, everyone's doing their own activities. Like, you could accidentally cut someone up in the traffic. You get out and you have an argument with them, and you could pull something out on you. You don't know who you're dealing with. So we just need to educate people away from all the negative vibes. If someone cuts you up, just let it go, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, silly things like that. That's just a little example, but silly little things in life, like, you've got too many people nowadays that are just bad, innit? Too much negative energy. So
Yeah.
you just got to just try to stay positive. Look for the positives in life, innit? Rather than the negatives. All right, they cut you up, but they didn't hit your car. There's a positive
true.
out of it. All right. Where is it really going to get you? Like, do you know what? Like, you jump out your car, you have an argument with them, you're delaying your journey even more. Just let it go, innit? You have an argument with someone, there's 5 minutes of your day gone, there's negative energy. You start spreading that negative energy onto the people that you care about around you. You know what I mean? So what's the point? Like, I'm just out here just trying to be positive. Like,
That's a proper deep way to look at it, but it makes so much sense at the same time. Do you think, I don't think this question's ever been asked before. Do you think that being in gangs had a negative effect on your mental health?
Being in gangs, I suppose there's betrayal and stuff in it. Behind the scenes, like, things happen in it. And I think coming out of a gang makes it socially awkward for me. I'm not really good with big groups of people around me. As funny as it seems, people say, yeah, but you do the music, you're in front of loads of people, but I'm very much more, I like to stay back a bit. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm out there if people want to come over and have a chat. I'm very good with just opening up and chatting with people, but to go out, if I was on a normal day out, if I wasn't at a gig, then I wouldn't be out clubbing. I'd rather go out for a bite of food with the boys, you know what I mean? Just keep my circle small. I've got a thing that I always say, I'm into quality, not quantity. So I keep that circle small. I've got good people around me. So yeah, I'm happy with life. Like, everything that I do is always positive. I've got people around me that, yeah, they complement what I do with life, do you know what I mean? They work with me. So that's the sort of people that you need. People that are going to push you forward rather than draw you back. So people are happy for the movements that I'm making rather than being jealous of the movements I'm making.
Yeah, I hear that.
So,
Do you think that young people kind of recognise that as they're growing up? Do you think that maybe that could be a reason why they get into gangs, or do you think it's something else?
Do you know what? I think with the gang things, it's very easy to get wrapped up into it quickly. Because you see that high life, you see they're rolling around with the money, the cars, in some cases the girls, you know what I mean? Like, the girls like the bad boys and all that, you know what I'm saying, innit? So yeah, like, it's quite easy to idolise someone. I mean, I done it. I idolised people that were in the bad boy positions, and I looked up to them. I'm thinking, yeah, they got the girls, the money, the nice cars, the nice clothes, all this sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite easy to get wrapped up in that, and there are always consequences to being wrapped up in that kind of stuff. So you got to think really of the consequences and what you're doing. Think of the bigger picture. You might be making what you believe is a good life for you, thinking, yeah, I'm doing this, I've got all this money, got all the clout and all that, but what are you doing to other people's lives at the same time, innit? So is there a positive in it? No, there's not a positive. So what you need to remember is that if you do it legitimately, you can have a good life anyway. Even if you're on, working in a shop, for instance, you're doing things legitimately. Yeah. There's always places you can go. Like, you can look for a promotion. If you've got that ambition and drive, nothing's stopping you, do you know what I mean? Just got to keep pushing forward. People like 50 Cent didn't make it straight away. 50 Cent, I believe, was selling mixtapes and stuff for like 6 years before he got recognised. And look at the position that he's in now. So there's lots of positive outcomes from people. People like 50 Cent, he was wrapped up in all the crime and activities and all that sort of stuff. And now look, he's made a better place in his life. It's the same with So Solid. So Solid were South London based, do you know what I mean? And they looked for a better way to better their lives. So that's where my inspiration comes from, having the crew around me. They've done this to better themselves and the positions that they're in now. So it's nice to be educated by people that I idolised as I grew up, do you know what I mean? So coming out of the cruise, I was basically in my house all the time, innit? Just staying away, trying to make a better life for myself. So I just pulled out the old albums, sitting there listening, going through like haters, talking about how people want to be hating on you and all this, that, the other, do you know what I mean? Friend of mine, back in the day, they didn't want to know you, they didn't check for you, you know, like all that sort of stuff. And it sort of resonated with inside me. So I was lucky to be in a position where I actually ended up meeting my idols and then becoming part of the movement that my idols were in. And I always put that down to energy. That good energy met that good energy, do you know what I mean? I idolized them for so long, and it was just inevitable that sooner or later my energy would connect with their energy. And I was lucky enough to have met with Lisa, and Lisa's just such a positive person, and her energy just made me a better person. It just sort of, it was contagious. Her positive energy was contagious. And then obviously I have people like Face around me, and Face is a big believer in energy, and he's educated.
Big up Face.
Yeah, he's educated me so much with how to be positive and look for the positives in every situation in your life. And yeah, like having them people around me, it's meant a big thing. Like I've got Harvey, I've got Mega, they've educated me about business, so I can do business with them in the background. So there's lots of things like taking knowledge and experience from the others. Like Mega, for instance, very, very successful businessman. Harvey, well, we all know what Harvey's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Such a big character, but to have someone like that around you and such positive characters, do you know what I mean? It just, yeah, resonates within you, and it makes you want to be a better person like them. So I'm lucky that I've got that circle around me to help improve me daily, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think that was part of the reason why you left gangs, or was that kind of...
No, the reason I left gangs was betrayal. So
okay.
There's a lot behind what went on, criminal activities and stuff, and when it came down to it, the people that you grew up with just didn't have your back like you thought they would, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everyone looks out for number one. So you might believe that you're this, that, and the other in your crew, in your gang, you know what I mean? You might think, yeah, I'm a top boy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But in reality, when it hits the fan, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's going to look out for number one. And that's what they did. They looked out for themselves. So, yeah, there was a bit of betrayal behind it. And that was really the eye-opener for me. Like, what am I doing with my life? I'm an embarrassment to my family. Like, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I had my family around me to help sort of re-educate me. I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I was just so into that vibe at the time. They were always advising me what I was doing was wrong, but, you know, when you're one of them miscreant little kids, that's what I mean. Like, you get up to your naughty stuff, and you don't want to listen to your parents. You want to do things your own way.
Yeah, exactly.
But in reality, I wish I'd listened to them and not really got involved in that. But because I've been involved in it, now I'm educated on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lesson learned. So it's a learning curve. Do you know what I mean? I've taken that negative side and I've learned from it, and I've turned it into something positive. Now I can just sort of say, it's not worth it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I can get more on a one-to-one level with people. Like, if a youngster comes up to me and he wants to talk to me about stuff like that, do you know what I mean? I can sit down. I can tell him life experiences. Maybe not so much like going into detail today, but if I'm one-to-one with someone and they tell me what they're going through, then we can talk. Do you know what I mean? I can say to him, look, these are my experiences with it, and these are the outcomes of my experiences. So I can kind of educate them in a different manner. So
yeah,
I think being in the position that I'm in, with the platform that I've got, someone's a lot more likely to listen to someone in my position rather than listen to your parents, because none of us like to listen to our parents, and when we're a teenager. You'll know that with your boys and that. Yeah,
100%. That's very, very true.
You know what? But yeah, you're lucky to have two good kids around you. Do you know what I mean? Like, your boys are great and all that. So
thank you.
Yeah. So do you know what I mean? So for me, it's just about being able to help other people out. Like, even if you're not a kid, do you know what I mean? Even if you're late teenagers, even if you're in your 20s, even if you're older than me and you're stuck in that situation, I can give you a little bit of light and try to educate you a little bit differently, to move on to something different. Do you know what I mean? So
that brings me to, I want to talk about your social media, because your social media, you post I see you post like messages and kind of like pictures and stuff, and they're all like positive and uplifting.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I just have to, like, when I'm sitting there in the morning, I wake up and I have these mad little thoughts in my head, and I just think, do you know what, I need to share these with others, innit? Because I wake up so positive every day. I wake up, I count my blessings. I've got a bed, I've got a home, I've got running water. Do you know what I mean? There's lots of places in this world, like, where people don't have running water. We've got dirty water. They have to walk 5 miles to collect dirty water in a jug. Do you know what I mean? So I've got blessings every day in my life. Do you know what I mean? So I count my blessings, and at the same time, it sort of motivates me to think, how can I motivate someone else? Right, so I'm always positive with what I start with. So a lot of the time, I'll sit there and I'll think, yeah, I'm grateful for what I've got. How can I then show others to be grateful? How can I keep others positive? And there's a lot of things where people have been struggling throughout the lockdown, mental health and stuff. 100%. So people have been struggling. So even something simple like me posting up how I'm getting on in the gym, what motivates me to go to the gym. And then I ask the question, what motivates others? So I share my experience, then they share their experience.
Yeah.
Not everyone might want to comment, but they might want to read the comments and see how other people are motivated.
Yeah, 100%.
The more you see others motivated, the more you can take away from it. Mm-hmm. So I think by getting people to interact, I think it's a really good way to help other people out. Because even the people that are struggling, they're reading. They're seeing the positive comments. They're seeing how people are motivating themselves. And they might, even if it's just one person out of every 100 people, do you know what I mean? It's one person we've helped. One person we're putting back on the right track. Yeah.
I must say, I do enjoy your posts, and sometimes when I get up in the morning and I read them, I do feel uplifted. I like them when you
Thank you.
do.
No, do you know what? It's nice to hear the feedback. It's good to hear the feedback because it just makes it so much more worthy of doing that. Do you know? Sometimes I sit there and think, are people listening? But the amount of inboxes I get is amazing. People saying like, you're really inspiring me, you're motivating me. Please keep the posts coming.
That's lovely.
Yeah, and I've had calls from people, like very good friends of mine that have been in a little bit of a down place. They've talked to me about what they're going through, and they said to me like, the post that I do really does help them. So yeah, it's a positive feeling to have other people just communicating back that it's worth it. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes you can get complacent. You can think, is it worth doing what I'm doing, and so forth. So yeah, it's good to have that positive feedback come back. So yeah.
So how did you get here? Because we've got from, obviously you've left the gang, and now you're the person that you are today. But kind of what happened in between? How did you feel after you left the gang, and kind of what did you reflect on?
I just reflected on myself. You know, I sort of just focused on what can I do to better myself. My mum and my dad got me a job with Openreach. So I started doing a legitimate job, something where I had responsibility. I wasn't running around doing silly things to earn money. So I had responsibilities. I was given my own van. I was being put on training courses, earning city and guilds, MVQs. So I was getting proper qualifications, things that would better me in life, things that I can take away and use in different job roles and so forth. Mm-hmm. But for me, more so, Openreach, I built a career out of it. Yeah. Like I progressed. I'm a multi-skilled engineer. I have skills across all the board throughout the company, looking at team leader work and stuff like that. So there's always opportunities within the company that I got for myself. So I can progress through that. That keeps me motivated. I can set goals. Perhaps try to get promotion, perhaps progress into a different department within the company. So that kept me motivated. And kind of outside of that, I was socially awkward. Wasn't one of these that had a big amount of friends, do you know what I mean? I had people around me, and I was well known in the area. People would say hello, but to actually sit down and have conversations and be friendly with people, I wouldn't say that I had many friends, maybe one or two. Even to this day, there's not many people around me that I would say are close. I've got a good group of friends, like I've got you for starters, That was a madness how we met up. That was through a gig, just through a gig. But yeah, like I say, energy met energy. Your energy met my energy, and we just vibed, you know what I mean? I've got my best mate, Dean. He looks after me, always checks in on me. And he was a really big positive impact on my life. Like, Yeah, we used to go out, do things together. Then he had a daughter. He had his daughter, and the biggest thing for me, he asked me to be the godfather. Yeah, I welled up on that. That was a madness because I was quite hard with emotion. Didn't know how to handle emotion. Never really got emotional about things because of all the stuff that I'd been through previous. So yeah, with him asking me to be the godfather, that really took me back, and that really changed an outlook on my life, innit? I thought to myself, like, yeah, one day I can be like, I aspired to be like him, innit? Like, he's got a family around him.
Yeah.
He's a good person. Took on the fact that his missus has already got another child. He's been a father figure to that other child, and yeah, I really look up to him. Do you know what I mean? So having someone around me like him really did mean. It means a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, for him to make me the godfather of his child, it's a big responsibility, and it really did open me up as a person. Made me learn how to care again. Do you know what I mean? Because I was so long with just being my own person and trying to better myself that I didn't think about others in life. So yeah, he really helped me out. I've got my other mate. I've got Turk around me. We all know about Turk and that. Big man Turk, exactly. So we train in a gym. Yeah, our friendship was really built with starting off in the gym, innit? He wanted to better himself, and it was something that I'd been doing for a long time, so I brought him into it, and then, yeah, me and him ended up becoming really, really good friends, so, even to this day. So, yeah, he's supportive of what I do, I'm supportive of what he does, so, you know, we just work together. We've got that good vibe with each other and stuff, so we bounce off of each other. If I'm feeling a little bit down about something, he checks in on me, helps bring me up, do you know what I mean? If he's down about something, I'll do the same to him. Like. So yeah, he's one of them positive characters that I've got in my life as well. Outside of the crew and everything that I do is so solid. Yeah, I've got some good people around me. Do you know what I mean? So
I love that.
Yeah.
Have you had any experiences with ill mental health, either yourself or kind of anyone around you?
Yeah. So as I was coming out of all the gangs and all that, early 20s sort of time, my parents actually broke up, and yeah, it was a hard time seeing my dad in a bad way. Obviously they grew apart and things weren't the same for them, and my dad got himself into a state of depression, and seeing him struggle with life and so forth. So I had to be that strength for him, innit? Be around him, reassure him, and just be there, let him know that he's got people around him that care and so forth. Because I don't think until you've been around someone in that position, I don't think that you can truly understand how powerful depression is, isn't it?
Very true.
It is a very, very powerful thing, and it's overwhelming for the person that's going through it. Do you know what I mean? So what they need is someone around them that's going to be there to support them, even if it's one person, whether it's one person, 10 people. Do you know what I mean? If they've got the support that they need, it gives them a focus. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's been a few situations where I've been around people that have gone through depression, and some you can help, some you can't.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we try our best, but sometimes they need medical help. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a medical profession. I can do what I can do. I can be reassuring. I can motivational quotes and so forth. But at the end of the day, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
Sometimes people need that medical help. Do you know what I mean? So we can do what we can do. Be positive with it, try and get them back in a positive mindset, but sometimes they do need that extra bit of help.
Yeah.
But as long as you do the best you can, then I think we're in a better position.
Yeah.
As long as you can, even if it helps them for an hour, it puts them in a better mind state for an hour. In that 1 hour, they might have been contemplating suicide. You might have just taken that away from them for that brief time. Do you know what I mean? So you just got to stay positive with it. Just try to help people where you can, innit? Because too many people take it for granted.
Yeah, 100%.
There's not enough talk about mental health and the positions that people are getting in life. Anxiety, mental health and all that sort of stuff. People really need to educate themselves a little bit better. But I think the only way to educate themselves is by talking about it.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, things like what you've been doing with the mental health and grime, it's an amazing thing, because it voices out to people more so in an urban industry, like what you've been doing, because you think the urban industry is more street based, a little bit more rough on the edges. No one wants to talk about things, like specifically guys may not want to talk about things because it makes them feel weak, makes
Yeah.
them feel insecure, like, because we all talk about being a man, or pull yourself together, man up, and all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's not really about pulling yourself together and manning up. It's about you're a human being, innit? Everyone's got emotions, everyone's got feelings.
Exactly.
So the more we talk about it, the more it just sort of puts it out there to people that it is okay to talk about it. Like I've got, I do a lot of work with my old gym that I used to go to, Crayford Weights, and we talk a lot about mental health. So we do lots
I've
of
seen the posts on
motivational
Insta.
quotes
Yeah.
and stuff, and yeah, they're really good with helping people. They put the quotes up. They're always there if you need someone to talk to. You can drop a message to them and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I've got the right people around me, so it's good. Like there was a charity event that we done in Crayford where little girl Nelly Rose, she's got a form of cancer, neuroblastoma. They put together a big fundraising event for her. Got to meet a lot of people. Ben Hatchett was one of them, Rocky another one. And yeah, the stuff that they do, the work that they do, charity work, mental health work, yeah, really, really positive people. So yeah, I've got to shout them out as well, because the stuff they're doing is
Big up
really, really
Crayford.
helping people. Yeah, so there's lots of people out there trying to make a positive impact. And you genuinely find that it's people that have been from a darker background,
Yeah.
that have been there and they've seen
Yeah.
that dark side, that they don't want to see other people in the same situation.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's very educational. When you've been in a darker side of life, you can educate others because you don't want to see people in that same situation. So yeah, I think that's where a lot of it comes from. The people that I specifically see that are working hard within the mental health industry and the charity organisations, they've been through a rough past themselves. So it makes them a little bit more educated than maybe the average person, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Talking of Crayford Weights, we're going to talk about your fitness.
Fitness, yeah, that's a big part.
We're going to talk about your Insta posts.
Yeah.
We know you love an Insta
Yeah.
post.
Do you know what? Yeah, I have to throw them up because it's just something that I do. It's a passion that I've got. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm passionate about keeping fit, and it's not just keeping me physically fit to look good. I'm not bothered about what other people think. Some people think I've got too much muscle. Other people think I'm small. I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do this for me. So I feel good in myself. Training, I like how I look, so forth. I set goals. I achieve goals. I set more goals. So it always gives me a drive to do something more with myself. Mentally, it's a boost because I'm setting goals and I'm achieving goals. So I'm always pushing forwards. I'm always grinding. It doesn't ever stop with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I achieve something, I set a new goal. Do you know what I mean? There's so much you can do within fitness. Change up your routine, change up your training, train with someone else. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, there's things that we can always do within fitness. And people just think it's about looking good, but it's so good for your mental health as well. Like, for me, I just go to the gym. I get into my own vibe. It's my own little personal space where I can just let
Me
go of
time.
everything. Yeah, me time, exactly that. Yeah, so I let go of everything. Anything that I'm a little bit stressed about, I put it into the weights. You know what I mean? Anything where I may be feeling a little bit upset about something, maybe a little bit of pain inside me, bang it out in the weights, man. You know, like just any pain that I've got, yeah, I'm putting that pain into the weights, make the muscles hurt. You know what? And then yeah, when I'm recovering, I'm feeling better about myself. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just love what I do with the gym and so forth. So it's just so good for my mental health as well. Just I don't really come out stressed anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just so positive with things. Like, yeah, sure, I may get a little injury, but I don't let that stop me. Do you know what I mean? I can find other exercises, work around an injury. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just good for me. Good mentally and physically.
The times that you haven't been able to train, do you feel the difference mentally?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. When I had shoulder surgery, I was out for a while. Probably went back to gym a little bit too soon, but yeah, I was quite lucky that my body recovered quickly from the surgery. So, but mentally, it did have an impact on me. I wasn't able to let go of things as easy. Yeah, it just made me feel a bit crummy, you know, when you're not feeling
Don't feel
in
yourself.
routine, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm quite big on my routine, innit? I like doing certain things at certain times. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I think setting a routine just really helps me to progress in life, innit? I feel like I've got an objective for the day. It's not a mess. It's an organised.
Yeah.
It's an organised day for me. So I think that's really good for me. I'm one of these people. I like to try to stay organised, put everything into a calendar, put alarms and so forth. So I like to keep on top of things.
Yeah.
Like to be early, for instance. You know, all these sort of things.
He was extremely early today.
Punctual and everything. Do you know what
Punctual,
I mean? Like, these are just things that I just think really need to be outlined for me. Punctuality, all that sort of stuff. I just think that it makes me a better person. Being on point. I think that's what it is. I like to be sharp on the edges. Everything has to be on point.
I think those things can help other people. I think routine's a big thing that can help something like anxiety.
Definitely.
And kind of knowing where you are and what you're going to do, being on time for things, organising yourself. I think
most definitely. It's true, because if you're not organised, then you're a mess. Not in a nasty way to people, but if you've got an objective for the day, you're following that routine. You're setting yourself a goal to achieve. Once you achieve your goals, whether it takes you a day, whether it takes you a year, whether it takes 10 years, you're grateful for the goals that you've achieved. You're grateful from where you started to where you finish. You might have hiccups, you might take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, all that sort of stuff. But you're always learning along the way. You make a mistake, you learn from the mistake, you better yourself from the mistake. You know what I mean? So it's always things to learn from, always things to progress yourself with.
Yeah, I like that. So what is your motto for life? What kind of words get you up in the morning, or when you're going through like a difficult patch? What kind
what? I just always believe in life that we're put here for a reason. And in my mind, the reason we're put here is to make a positive impact.
Okay, yeah.
So, kind of like a legacy. Even if you only affect one person throughout your life and you make them have a happy life or a positive life, even if it's just that one person, you've succeeded. I think that you've got to have a positive impact in life. If you don't have that positive impact in life, what's the point of being here? Do you know what I mean?
I hear that.
It's kind of like a legacy. As long as you're making people happy, and that's the main objective for me. Happiness. Create happiness around others around you. That's where I'm with things. Like, if you can make people happy, do it. Because the world needs more of that. Do you know what I mean? We all need to be happy. We all need to be positive. So that's very much where I am. Just try to keep everyone positive and happy around me. Like, sure, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Like, I upset people sometimes, but you got to be big enough to turn around and say, yes, I made a mistake. Like, there's lots of things. Like, you could take alternative routes to people. Like, they might have one path to follow, you might have another path to follow, but you end up at the same place. Doesn't mean my route was correct, doesn't mean their route was correct. We both have different paths to get to the same location. So, same being, their opinion might be right and your opinion might be right. Neither of you are wrong, but neither of you are right, because you can do things in your own pathway. So you just need to be more understanding of people. So that's where I am with things. Like, learn to accept that sometimes you can be wrong. Admit that sometimes you're wrong, because none of us like to do that. Pride overtakes all the time. But if you've done something wrong, apologise for it. Try to make it better. Do you know what I mean? We're not perfect. No one's perfect, but we can all make an active effort to be better.
100%.
Learning to accept the flaws in yourself, you learn to grow as a person. And you'll find that you keep people happier, because you're not always arguing. You're learning to accept that sometimes you're wrong and sometimes you're right. Do you know what I mean? So their opinion may be more valid than your opinion at the time, but learn to accept that.
Difficult, isn't it?
It is difficult, but that's the problem, is that people are too narrow-minded. A little bit arrogance behind it, too much pride. Just let it all go.
Ego gets in the way sometimes.
Just let the ego go. Drop it. What does ego achieve? Nothing. It really doesn't. It really achieves nothing. So,
And just the last word from you about fitness. I think it's important to touch on fitness. Again. It just came to my mind, and I thought I'd ask you. For those who are kind of wanting to get into it and wanting to start, what kind of advice would you give them? Obviously,
start simple. That's it. Just start simple.
Yeah.
Whether you do 5 minutes a day, or you do 10 minutes a day, just start simple.
Yeah.
Really, with it, what you need to do is, if you want to start lifting weights like what I do, start basic.
Okay.
Don't jump into it. Think, yeah, because the weights, I can lift the weights, I can go with the weights. Focus on your technique. Focus on your form. Start that for a month. Get your form correct. Stop injuries. Yeah. Focus on your form, technique. Once that's done, then you can start experimenting, trying to lift a little bit heavier.
Yep.
And progressing. But really, what you need to do is focus on setting an objective. The first objective should be your technique and your form. Once you've got that technique and form, then you can progress. You can set yourself a new goal. Right, I want to lift my personal best. I want to do X amount of running a week. I want to do X amount of cardio a week. I want to do X amount of weights a week. I want to lose this amount of weight. I want to build this amount of muscle. Like, just set yourselves objectives, but small. Don't go in and say, right, I need to lose 5 stone of weight. Set yourself a small goal.
Yeah.
Right. Within the first month, I want to maybe lose 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Don't go in and say, I want to lose 5 stone. Unrealistic.
Yeah.
You make yourself ill trying to achieve such goals in a month and stuff.
Yeah.
And people will start looking at products. How can I lose weight? That's not a healthy diet.
Yeah.
Focus on diet. Focus on consistency, training correctly, form, technique. The diet's your most important thing. So
Yeah.
I'm not a PT, so don't quote me on and everything that I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
It's what works for you, though.
this is what works for me, and for people that have trained with me, these are things that have worked for them.
Yeah.
So it's worked for me. It's my experiences,
Yeah.
not something I've read out of a book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
Tried
not
and
qualified to advise on nutrition and specific diet plans and specific training programs, but I know what works, and I know that technique and form
Yeah. Very important.
are foundation behind training. If you get them right, that's where your progression is going to be. Save injury, save you taking 2 steps back, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. What would you say to younger Frost?
what would I
If
say?
you could
to younger
speak to
Frost?
younger Frost about what he's been
Grow
through.
up.
That was a
Yeah,
quick one.
That's a quick one. Grow up. Like, I just try to tell myself, look, what you're doing is wrong. But of course, it would take something big. At the time, I needed an idol. I had the wrong type of idol. So listening to someone outside would be difficult for me. But if I could just open his eyes a little bit and just say, look what you're doing to your family, I think maybe that would resonate more.
Yeah.
Look what you're doing to your family name.
Yeah.
Look at the reputation of your family. People hear your name and they're thinking criminal. Do you know what I mean? Like, people used to say my name and think bad boy. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't want that about life. I don't want my family name tarnished. So maybe that would be a way that would resonate with my younger self. So maybe try to just educate myself a little bit about more family morals.
Yeah.
Because you're letting your family down when you're doing things like that. It's no good for your family name. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you respect your family, don't do that to them. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, just be a good person, innit?
Yeah.
Just look at
Just be a good
positive. Because I
person.
didn't look at positives. I just looked at, I want this, I want that, I want that. Chasing the clout, innit? I wanted a reputation. I wanted to be a bad boy. But when you get to that level of being a bad boy, you don't want it no more. Always looking over your back. You go into a cafe. You're looking at the door all the time. Who's coming in? You're counting people. You know who's around you.
Yeah.
It's not a healthy way to live.
No,
It's not a nice way to live. Always looking over your shoulder 24/7. Do you know what I mean? So, think about things like that. Do you want to be watching your back all the time? Do you want to put your family, your friends in danger because you're part of a crew, and other crews might want to get to you by getting to your family or your friends? Do you really want to be that person that's responsible for that? That's what you got to think about.
That's well deep.
What you're affecting, who you're affecting around you by the actions that you're taking. Not just your family, your friends, the actions that you're taking, the impact that it's having on the victims at the same time.
Yeah.
People, we talk about mental health. People say victims of crime and stuff. You're affecting their mental health, do you know what I mean? You need to be a better person about things. Think about others before you think about yourself. Sure, you want a nice pair of trainers. Sure, you want a nice tracksuit, nice car, so forth. think about how you're achieving them. Do it in a positive way, man.
Yeah.
Don't do it where you've got to hurt other people to get to that objective. Do it legitimately. That's what I'd say to people.
I think that's a good message. I think that's quite a good message. Where can we find you on social media so we can see some of these posts?
You can find me on Instagram. That's really my main one. My Instagram's my main post, at sosolid_frost. That's my main profile. You can find me on Facebook. It's Dan Frost, but with the nickname part in the middle, Frost So Solid.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm about, mainly Instagram. If you want to find the motivational quotes, mainly Instagram. That's my main profile. The Facebook will be more advertising, gigs and so forth.
Yep.
But yeah, Instagram is more so where I can communicate with people on a better level. Facebook I don't find is very good for interaction with people on a personal level. I find Instagram's a lot better for that. So,
yeah. You have been an amazing guest.
No, I don't know about that. I'm just me out here.
No, you've been a good guest. I've got some real gems. I think we've got some gems out of this interview.
Hopefully it just helps other people in a situation. Like, even if they just take a little bit away from today, if it helps them a little bit, gives them a little bit of a positive vibe for a day. Yeah. Then I'm happy to have done so. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I got to thank you for putting me on the show. Being able to use your platform to try and help others. And I've got to thank you as well for all the mental health stuff that you've been doing yourself, because that does inspire me. Honestly, like everything you've done, it inspires me to try and put that extra bit of motivation out for other people. Yeah. So I've taken inspiration from you too. So
that's mad. That's so mad.
Honestly, no, it's the truth, man. Like, everything that you're doing, it really does help to inspire others to want to do better. So
thank you. I appreciate that so much. Man. I'll keep on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you to everyone that's locked in this week. You have been locked into the L Show with myself, El Formosa. I will be back in 2 weeks' time. Take it easy.